Hey guys, this is Luraynz. It's been a minute. Today I wanted to talk about something that hasn't left my mind. And when I have something in my mind, best believe I'm going to talk about it. I don't want to say where it was. I don't want to say no names, I just want to tell you guys this so you guys can learn from this. I had a boss in one of the places I worked at a long time ago, let's say. Not too long, but a long time ago. And I was doing the graveyard shift. And I remember the guy telling me, anybody who comes to to party after 2, like from 2, let's say 2 to 4 in the morning or 2 to 5, they call that the after party. He basically said in his knowledge that those are the people that were crazy, that pretty much were, what he meant by that was people that were getting themselves into drugs, people who were, had nothing else to do but just drink, and that they were repetitive people, consistent people that he would see at his lounge or at his place. These people are paying him while at the same time they don't know that he thinks this way. Getting him paid at the same time, but at the same time his mentality was that. And I started to think, dang, how many times have I've done a lot of things in my life, like drinking or let's say doing drugs and stuff like that in the past, and they probably thought the same about me. Even though it doesn't matter what anybody thinks about you, but at the same time it should matter, because at the end of the day, what are you doing? You're hurting yourself, and you're leaving a bad example. At the end of the day, you need to lead by example, not be a bad example, because at the same time other people are seeing this, and we tend to post these things online thinking that we live in our life, and as I was working, and obviously I'm sober because I'm working, you see these things when you're in a party, and you're drinking and you're doing drugs, you don't see none of the small details. But if you're sober, that's where you're gonna see, is what I'm doing worth it? Like, is it worth me risking my life? Is it worth me doing this every day or every weekend? Is it worth me waiting till Friday, Saturday, Sunday to go and do the same thing and spend my money on something that is not going to bring me back anything but bad health or bad habits or, an addiction? We don't think about none of these things. And at the same time, these things are affecting us, like mentally too, because unfortunately, you do see what he mentioned. You do see people that have problems, mental problems. Like, you see people that talk to themselves. I've seen people do things that they're not supposed to do, like people run over people with a car because of some situation. That's why I always say, graveyard isn't what people think it is, like graveyard shift or graveyard partying, whatever you want to call it, after party, because that's where all the bad things happen. That's when you should be home, sleeping, recovering, and taking care of yourself and your health, And we're not doing that, because powering our brain to forcefully be up at a time that we should be sleeping. It's like a phone, you leave it charged all day. Eventually what happens? The battery gets fried, you either start losing battery, your phone starts getting weak, you need to replace the battery. It's the same thing for a person, These are the things that we fail to see, And by you doing that, mentally, emotionally, physically, you're hurting yourself. These are the things that we need to stay away from. That's like all this stuff that people don't see. I wish they could see it, and I used to never see that, because like I said, I'll put myself right in the spot. I used to be one of those people that used to love going out, that used to love drinking, and hanging out. And I remember one time, for example, I got so drunk that I was in downtown Orlando, Florida. I was hanging out with my friends, and I would look at myself in the mirror, and I swear, like, I would feel like if I had a like I would look and stare at myself in the mirror, and I would say these things like, yo, I'm sick, I'm crazy, because that's what alcohol does, It makes you think a way that you shouldn't be thinking, and eventually that thing, if you don't take care of it, it's gonna take care of you. You know what I'm saying? Like it's weird, I like to put myself in these storylines because it's true, I would even hang out with my buddies at one point, that we would actually drink in the car and sit next to each other. We'll sip a whole bottle, and we'll look at ourselves and we're like, hey bro, we're effing sick, Like, we'll laugh at these things, and if you think about it, these things are demonic at the end of the day. And Jesus does not like that. God does not like that. Because at the end of the day, we're not only laughing at ourselves, we're laughing at him because we're committing a sin without even thinking about Jesus first. One of the reasons why I stopped drinking, because I noticed that I was becoming something that I didn't want to become. And, I want people to take this message for what it is. First, it's all good, it's cool, it's a chill time, I'm with my buddies, I'm not doing nothing bad. But eventually, your mindset starts changing and you start wanting more and you start drinking more and you start thinking a different way. And this is a big mistake that we're making in this life. That we think that drinking is the way of life when it's not. So I want you guys to take advice and take this message in the best way possible, because Jesus is real and he wants the best for us. He doesn't want us to fall into temptation and to do things we shouldn't be doing. If you guys ever feel a certain way, you guys need to talk to somebody. There's positive people out there that are willing to help. If you can always start at a church. If you got nobody to talk to, you could write to me, send me a message on YouTube. I'll try to respond. I'll try to give you some experiences. But this video led me to this, to talk about this, because I felt like people might want to hear about this. You're not the only one who ever felt this way. So if you want change, it all starts with you. You can't keep saving things for tomorrow or for whatever time you think is best. If you want change, you need to start right now. Drinking isn't the way. I don't recommend it for nobody. If you're young and you're going through that phase, just stop. If you're thinking about going out tonight, just, the best thing to do is change your mind, because it's not worth it. At the end of the day, what happens? Those people that you used to hang out with, they're going to find other friends. They're going to find other drinking buddies. Or if not, they're going to stop talking to you for whatever reason. And what drinking does is it starts problems between you and your friends without you even knowing. You don't want to live that life of confusion, that life that you think that you're living your best life, because you're not. At the end of the day, you're making a big mistake. That's why a lot of these people that are homeless, what they do, they ask for money, and they rather ask for money to drink, because they have everything they need. And we feel bad giving them money for food when they end up buying a whole 12-pack to themselves. And I'm talking because I've seen it with my own eyes doing security. I had a homeless guy tell me one day, hey, you think that we ask for money because we want food? He was like, we know where to get haircuts for free. We know where to get clothes. We know what time to get food. We know where to get shelter. We don't need none of that. The money that we take is for our addictions. So ever since he told me that, I stopped feeling bad for all homeless people. And if I feel deep in my heart that homeless person is hungry, you know what I do? I'll go buy the food myself, like I've done in the past. And I'll be like, here's a box of chicken for you and your family. I don't need to give them money to prove anything. God knows your heart. And let's say you don't have time and you did it from the bottom of your heart. You say, here, take this and buy food, and he doesn't. Jesus still blesses you. But me, in my experience in security, I feel like that's really not the way. If you want to help somebody, give them food, give them clothes, even though they can get it. But at the end of the day, what you did was the right thing, If you don't want that behind your head, like, dang, what if he bought beer or bought drugs and he died because I gave him the $10, Everything that is bad that has to do with alcohol and drugs always leads to the next level. It's never going to end. You're never going to stay at just drinking beer, or you're never going to stay at just smoking a cigarette or smoking weed. So why not eliminate it and cut it by the head? Once you cut it by the head, obviously that shit is done. So you might as well stop now while you can, and while you're young, and while you're mentally and physically well. Because like I said, tomorrow isn't promised. Today you could be walking, and tomorrow you could be in the bed crying out for help or for your life. So I want everybody to have a blessed day, to find peace inside of themselves, and to stop doing the wrong things. All right? I love you guys. Follow me at Luraynz and at Apestheticsco. Everything is always in the bio. Peace.